am K Mert, Mert Witness 1, and today I am going to talk about the rantings of a dead guy. Now, why this title? Well, anybody that's followed this thread of mobile thons for the past few days would understand why I titled it this way. Now, what is interesting is that I was going to talk about a different subject entirely. I was going to talk about witnesses. But in the end, these two subjects are actually one of the same. And I'm going to tackle the rantings of the dead guy first. But I would suggest that you folks stick around for what is probably going to be a little bit of one of my longer mobile thons to what the witness part of this is about. I'm going to get to this at an appropriate time during this mobile thon. Now, yesterday, I wrote, or did a mobile thon actually. I didn't write it, and I actually did two, because they tied together. And it had to do with the Neely Blanchard case. And I would suggest people go back to those two prior mobile thons and listen to them. The one is about 3.5 minutes long, and the other one's about 20. I can't remember if it's 15, 20 minutes, something like that. I'm trying to shorten these things. But this will explain why this particular article came out today. And the article came out is something called the Filthy Mert articles. That's what I call them, because the owner of the blog with this person's name on it, Timmy Hoffa, calls me Filthy Mert. You know, this is the intelligence level of these people. They can't write dignified articles or anything like that. They have to get involved with demeaning their opponents, getting highly personal and all that, which they did, in order to try and drive people away from paying attention to what I write. See, this is the whole point of what they're doing. They are terrified of my mobile thons. They are terrified of my murder-thons. Now, why would you ask? Well, see, this is a question that I ask myself. Now, let me give you a background as to who I am and who I am not. I am 70 years old, and I'm retired. I am a retired truck driver. I've been driving trucks since I was a teenager. I went and became a commercial truck driver when I was 21, and I did that right up until I retired. I've got 5.5 million accident-free miles under my belt. I've been to every part of the United States, been to parts of Canada. I've even been to Prince Edward Island. But that's it. Nothing special. I'm one of millions of truck drivers in this country, and I'm one of millions of retired truck drivers. Now, I operate a small blog from the desk of Mert Witness 1 Live. I hardly write in it anymore. I'm in the middle of reorganizing my website, so if you go to any of my web pages, nothing's going to be there. It's completely shut down. It's going to be reopening here pretty quick. When I have the time, that is. Anyway. But all I do is I also operate this little YouTube channel. I've got somewhere between 970 and 980 subscribers. Now, there was a time that I had gone over 1,000 subscribers. I had up as high as 1,015 subscribers. I was doing a waiting game with YouTube to see if they were going to allow me to stream mobile. And it never happened for whatever reason. And so my subscriber base has been steadily dropping. Now, part of the reason why my subscriber base is dropping is because of the Timmy Hoppa blog and the Timmy Hoppa group. These people are terrified that I am on YouTube. I don't understand why. As I said, I just gave up my background. I have absolutely no influence with anybody. I'm like tens of millions of people on the internet that have blogs, that have YouTube channels, that have TikTok, all these different social media accounts. We're all a bunch of nothings, talking to each other on the internet. I've got a live stream that I do from my house because it's the only place I can do it right now. Or if I happen to be in a hotel room somewhere. But I get, 18, maybe 20 people a night on this thing? Think about it. 18 people. In a world where 3 billion, with a B, people are on the internet. And yet, these people are terrified of me. And why are they terrified of me? It's for one simple reason. Because I tell the truth. And I expose liars. They don't like that. And so they come out with this weird shit. They don't like the fact that I live in a 30-year-old mobile home without air conditioning. That's the big scandal of the day. Filthy Mert lives in a 30-year-old mobile home without air conditioning. Really? Oh, they get in the pedophile business there, They got to accuse me of being a pedophile. They do this to everybody. Everybody's a pedophile. Everybody drinks baby's blood. Everybody harvests endochrome from babies' bodies, and they get involved in this sacrifice shit. This is all these people are capable of talking about. It's the center of their universe. It's what drives them, is this fiction. The problem is, it's all a bunch of lies. But, considering what's going on in this country today, truth seems to have been thrown out into the dumpster. Truth is the new dumpster fire. Nobody believes in it anymore. And so it kind of confuses me as why they even bother to pay attention to me at all. If I'm so unimportant, if I'm so insignificant, if I'm such a big failure, why pay attention to me at all? I mean, you would think they would pay more attention to CNN and MSNBC and so on and so forth, because those people have influence. They're the big shots in town. But no, they gotta pay attention to little old me. And so you gotta wonder why. You gotta wonder what it is about my little YouTube channel that has these people's burr up their asses. And it boils down to simply the truth. Now, let me get back on track here a little bit. I had intended today to talk about witnesses. Now, what are these witnesses? Well, as I stated yesterday in my mobile-thon, and you may want to go back and review it again, I talked about the fact that the prosecution in the E-Clause murder case had released a list of witnesses that will likely be called in the trial. Now, the vast majority of witnesses on the list were law enforcement officials, coroners, maybe one or two regular people, and even somebody from the United States Coast Guard, which I thought was kind of interesting, and a couple people that could be considered QAnons. And I talked about briefly that here's a list of people that have been called to, probably will be called to be testified in the trial when it comes up. But then I was notified of another list of witnesses. And two of the names were redacted. Now, this is a new list. It's a revised list, as they would call it. And I was a little puzzled as to why these two names were removed from the witness list. So I did a comparison between the two witness lists. And the two names were not removed, the two names were added to the list. So we have two new witnesses. Who are these witnesses? And why are their names retracted? I mean, completely. There's great big black squares going across the two top names on the list. The only clue I got was that the two witnesses are from outside the state of Florida. These are two out-of-state witnesses. All the other witnesses, with the exception of one or two, are from inside the state of Florida. These two witnesses are from the outside of the state of Florida. Now just think, who are two people that would be associated with the Neely Blanchard case that are from outside the state of Florida? Well, one of the clues might be as to why I was attacked today. Because these people wanted to sidetrack me from discussing these two witnesses. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's very, very unusual for the state of Florida to redact the name of a witness in a capital murder case. There's very specific regulations regarding public disclosure of information in the state of Florida. We are a sunshine state. That means that virtually everything is subject to public disclosure. And there are very, very, very few exceptions to that rule. And so that means that whoever it is that has been redacted from the documents is a very important witness, and it is a witness that is being kept from the public for very specific reasons. And no, it is not because somebody is under witness protection. There is another reason for this. And that reason will become apparent as we get close to the trial date. I have it on very good authority that there is a reason why these two names have been redacted. Because their status may turn from witnesses to co-defendants. And so that is one reason why they would be redacted, so to speak, from the witness list, because they may themselves be turning into defendants in this particular case. Not sure why, but that is one indication that was given to me by somebody that is close to the case. So, when I announced that I was going to be discussing these witnesses today is when I got hit with yet another attack article from the blog of Timmy Hoffa. Now, if you recall, yesterday and in the recent past, I have stated that there is good reason to believe that a certain blogger from Minnesota may no longer be among the living. That repeated attempts to get the handler of this individual or the individual himself to come up with a verifiable proof of life has gone nowhere. These people absolutely refuse to come up with a proof of life. Instead, they try and sidetrack the issue with articles like the one that was published today. Now, other than claiming I'm a pedophile and coming up with fake chats that law enforcement has dismissed over 10 years ago, these people continue with this narrative that I'm some kind of pedophile, I deal in baby trafficking and all this other crap. And it always seems to happen when I zero in on something that gets these people nervous. And it can be checked. You can check it. You go back every time that this set of false narratives appears on this particular blog. It is always around the time that I have come up with something that has gotten these people upset. That I have pointed out something that these people don't like. And so they retaliate with the same material over and over and over and over again. And sometimes they'll come up with a little twist. Now, what's the twist this time? Well, of course, they got me tied in with Craig Sawyer, which I think is kind of laughable. But, aside from that, now they got me going on about Lynn Wood. And supposedly I said that Lynn Wood might be charged with murder. Well, anything's possible. But Lynn Wood has problems of his own, because Lynn Wood was probably going to be disbarred by the Georgia bar and a number of other states because some of the nonsense that he is spewing out. And they have also called for him to have a mental evaluation. Because anybody that believes in the stuff that he believes in, that he's spouting, has got to be Looney Tunes. So, Lynn Wood is being given a lot of grief. And I made a comment about it. But it sure got whoever is writing on this blog in something of a snip. Got them all upset. We got to go after Mert. We got to talk about Mert in his 30-year-old trailer without air conditioning. We got to talk about Mert with his bad teeth. I mean, really? Am I the only one in the country living in a trailer with no air conditioning? I mean, a little over 100 years ago, there was no such thing as air conditioning. Everybody lived in log cabins, and if you wanted air conditioning, you went outdoors. Or you got one of these little D-shaped hand fans. Or you went swimming in the river or in the lake or someplace. You didn't have air conditioning. But in Florida, during the summer, you need air conditioning. It gets downright hot down here. And the way they build houses anymore, or mobile homes, you don't have the kind of ventilation you would need to get through the day. But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of people that live without air conditioning. It's one of those things. And right now, when it's 44 degrees outside, you don't need air conditioning. You need heat. And, I've got heat. I got a space heater in the living room, and I've got a space heater in the bedroom. When I'm in the living room, I turn on the space heater. When I'm in the bedroom, I turn on the space heater. It's perfectly fine. I do have a window air conditioner in the bedroom. I don't have a window air conditioning in the living room, because if I put a window air conditioning in the living room, you would all hear it. There would be this big roar. Because window air conditionings are inherently noisy. And the central air, when it worked, had air conditioning, and it was loud. So I would have turned it off when I was live streaming anyway, because the thing was so damn loud, it would drown me out. But it eventually quit, and I don't have the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to fix it. And since I don't own the mobile home, I'm not going to put that kind of money in something like that. And so there's that. Now, this brings us back to this situation with the witnesses and this dead guy and his sick interest in my personal life. Now, if anybody's tuned in to my blog, or not blog, excuse me, my live stream, they would have seen someone that goes by task force come on my live stream and ask me to show pictures of my house, the inside of my house. I go, why? And it's a mobile home. It's a 30-year-old mobile home. I'm not exactly Mr. Clean. I mean, it's messy, I guess is one way to describe it. But it's nobody's damn business. And they said, what's the concern about the inside of my house? Why does somebody need to see the inside of my house? Well, probably so they can poke fun at it. They can say, hey, look at that crap hole that guy lives in. There's something else for him to insult. See, this is the whole basis for it. They want stuff to insult me about because they're trying to drive me off the internet. This is something that's very important to understand. They want me off the internet. That's the answer to all the questions here. They do not want me on the internet. They never have wanted me on the internet. These people have been trying to get me off the internet for the last 5 years. They are running around telling people, do not subscribe to this channel. Stay away from this channel. Do not listen to Merck. Do not watch Merck. Do not have anything to do with Merck. And the question is why? It's funny because you have people screaming bloody murder because Donald Trump was taken off Twitter. That was a corporate decision. Twitter is under no legal requirement to have Donald Trump on Twitter. There's no law that says they have to do that. They have a right to refuse service. There was a Supreme Court decision on that basis that stated that commercial entities, non-government private businesses have the right to refuse service. And so there's no legal requirement to have Donald Trump on there. There's no legal requirement to have anybody from QAnon on the social media, so on and so forth. And so the various social media outlets have made the decision that they're not going to have certain people on there. And this drives these people crazy. Yet, they turn around and they try every trick in the book to get me off the internet. Me. Little old me. Why? What are they scared of? And the answer is quite simple. They are scared of the truth. I tell the truth, and they don't like that. I expose these people for what they are and what they are not. And they don't like it. So rather than argue with me about facts, rather than argue with me about proof, rather than counter what I say, they talk about a 30-year-old mobile home with no air conditioning in my teeth. And they call me names like Filthy Merc. And they think, oh, that's going to get him upset, that's going to get him mad, and he's going to go away. Sorry to disappoint you folks, but I'm not going anywhere. I don't care if only one person subscribes to this channel, or only one person even listens to these rantings that I do on a daily basis. I am staying here. So you're going to have to get used to it. Because I'm not in this for the numbers. Yes, I wanted the 1,000 threshold, but that was only so I could live stream mobile. The only reason. The other reason, of course, is because it would help me get credentialed with the courts, but I don't need the credentialing to sit as a member of the public in the court and then report on things after the trial is over. The only thing it would have allowed me to do is have access to certain equipment within the courthouse, and also to be able to text the proceedings as they happen. The only thing you cannot do inside the courtroom is live stream it. You have to use the pool equipment, and this is why I needed access to that. But other than that, it's not something that's going to stop the process. I still have access to information within the court system. I can still report, and if I have to, I can go into the court, sit down as a member of the general public, take notes, and then after the proceeding is over, report on what happened. And with the coronavirus, everything is being done virtually, and there's really no reason to go to court because court's not in session. So the thousand subscriber thing is no longer an issue. Yes, I would like to build up the channel, and I would like to have the subscriber base, but if I can't get the subscriber base, it still does not mean I'm going anywhere. And these people understand that, and they are trying desperately with any means at their disposal to get me off the air. And so when people unsubscribe, they are perpetuating a lie, because they are allowing these people to continue to lie and lie again, because they don't have people like me around to call them out. Now, these people trying to get me off the air don't understand something. And that is that I am not the only one out there exposing these people for the liars they are. There are other people. They attack these other people. They call them Satanists, pedophiles. They even poke fun of a woman's dogs, for crying out loud. Even dogs are not exempt from personal attacks. Even such a thing, they actually attack dogs. These people must not own dogs. But that all aside, they just this unbelievable desire to be the only voice in town. They only want their message to get out. Their Q crazy stuff. They don't want anyone else to have a voice. They don't want anyone else to speak truth. They want to be the word, the only word. They want a one-party system in this country. They want a dictatorship. They want to be judge, jury, and prosecutor. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. These Q crazies do not want representative government. They don't want people to have the right to vote. They want Russia. They want to have their leader, and only their leader, and only their set of laws to govern. Anyone else is a pedophile, child trafficker, this, that, and the other thing. They don't attack with facts. They attack with gaslighting. They attack with ridicule. And they attack with lies. And so when you see rants from this dead guy calling people filthy and ranting about living in a 30-year-old mobile home without air conditioning and other nonsense, just think to yourself, what are these people hiding? What on earth are they scared of? And you will find, as you dig into what these people espouse and what they profess and write about and put up on Instagram and all these other weird websites, that they are afraid of the truth. They are afraid of being exposed. They are afraid of me. Because that's what it is. As silly as this sounds, it's a fact. They are terrified of me and people like me. That all we want is the truth. In my case, in the case of some others, we simply want to be left alone. So, I wonder what else they're going to come up with now. Oh, they're always coming up with shit. But they've got me, they're mad at me because of something I said about Lynn Wood. They're mad at me because they think I'm associated with Craig Sawyer. And they're mad at me because I tell the truth. That I do not claim to be in any task force. I'm not part of any high command. I am not a government agent. I do not work with or for law enforcement. I am a retired truck driver living in a 30-year-old mobile home without air conditioning. I am a big nothing. At least I thought I was, but boy, to Timmy Hatha, I am the most important thing in the world and in his life, because he just cannot get me out of his head. He eats, drinks, and sleeps filthy murk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, 365 days a year. Year after year after year. And you kind of have to wonder why. What makes me so damn important that I am living in the head of a dead guy? This is William K. Murtaugh, Mart Witness 1. Please like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned. And also, have a good one.